Namaskaram. Continuing with equalization levy. This lecture is the most important lecture because it is going to cover maximum provisions which are applicable in your examination. The first section is section 163, not that important. It just talks about scope and extent of the equalization levy. So equalization levy is applicable to whole of India except Jammu and Kashmir. Within a due course of time, Government of India may amend section 163 and they may say it is applicable to whole of India, that means including Jammu and Kashmir. But right now, this is the law, it is applicable to whole of India excluding Jammu and Kashmir. The next is most important one, charge of equalization levy on specified services. Specified services means advertisement. This was the old law, this was the 2016 law, 6% equalization levy. Look at this. Equalization levy at the rate of 6% applicable if payment for specified services, that is advertisement services, received or receivable by a non-resident. So it is received by a non-resident. Non-resident is outside India from a person who is a resident in India carrying on a business or a profession. So resident in India, or second one is the non-resident having PE in India. So NR who is having PE in India, please understand, non-resident who is having PE in India. So these two people are paying to the non-resident who definitely does not have PE in India. So we are making payment to him. While making payment, we have to apply 6% of equalization levy. Equalization levy will not be chargeable in certain circumstances where the non-resident providing the specified services has a permanent establishment in India. If non-resident is having permanent establishment in India and the specified services is effectively connected with such PE, definitely there will be application of TDS under section 195, meaning thereby you don't have to talk about equalization levy. Second exception, that this is the threshold limit, you can say. So aggregate amount of consideration for a specified services received or receivable in a previous year by a non-resident from a resident or from a resident carrying on a business or profession, or from a non-resident having PE in India, does not exceed rupees 1 lakh rupees. Okay, does not exceed rupees 1 lakh. That's the threshold limit. So if you are making payment of 98,000, no equalization levy. If you are making payment of 1,50,000, there will be equalization levy on a whole amount. It's not a basic exemption. It's just the threshold limit whether equalization levy will be attracted or will not be attracted. And lastly, the third exception, where the payment for the specified service by a person in resident India or PE in India is not for the purpose of carrying out any business or profession. So if it is not for PGBP purpose, for any other purpose, then obviously it is not taxable. It is taxable only in the hands of business and profession associates. Next one. This is important one. This is more important because it has amended, it was been amended by the Finance Act 2020. You can see here it was amended. This is for e-commerce operator. The best example is Amazon and Alibaba. From AY 21-22, equalization levy at the rate of 2%, that was 6% equalization levy on advertisement. This is 2% equalization levy on e-commerce. 2% would be chargeable on the amount of consideration received or receivable by a e-commerce operator from an e-commerce supply or services made or provided or facilitated by it. So either it is a good sold by Amazon or it was facilitated by Amazon. Both are covered under this particular clause. By it, to whom, sir, it is provided. So this non-resident, Amazon USA, okay, Amazon USA based company or Alibaba China based company, these non-residents are providing services to persons in India, either to resident in India, then a non-resident having in the specified circumstances, we will learn the specified circumstances, to a person who buys such goods or services or both using the internet protocol IP address, we say internet protocol address located in India. So it can be any person, it can be resident, it can be non-resident, or any person who is using Indian IP address. If somebody is using Indian IP address, that means that person is located in India, and definitely that should become taxable. See, this is the digital taxation. This kind of taxation were never introduced in India. India is going literally global when it is taxation is concerned. We are adopting international taxation very soon, and from AY 21-21 you can see we are also adopting a digital economy in taxation matters. So what are the specified circumstances where payment made by NR to foreigner are also taxable in India? where it is the sale of an advertisement which target the customer who is a resident in India. So you are a foreign company, okay, you are a Honda Japan, but you are targeting Indian audience, then it is taxable in India. Customer who access says advertisement through IP addresses located in India. Obviously, if I'm watching some videos on YouTube, my IP address is Indian IP address, whether the advertisement was reflected by resident or non-resident, both is taxable in India. Sale of data, you understand, this is one of the most important aspect, and Facebook was being challenged in international courts for this, that you are selling the data. Even you can observe, if you search certain items on your normal Google page, and then you can go and use the Facebook, you can see the recommendation. Recently I wanted to buy a new laptop. I just search for the laptop with my login ID on my on my other devices, and after taking the mobile phone in my hand, immediately in 5 minutes I started getting the recommendation from various laptop service providers. So you can understand how fast data is being sold or being supplied to this globally online or server based companies. Sale of data collected from a person who is a resident in India or from a person who uses IP address located in India. So somebody who is using the data for marketing India. India is the target market. In all the point, you should understand India is the target market. If India is the target market, any payment made to this non-resident, whether it is by resident or non-resident, definitely it is going to be taxable in India. One more point you should understand always now, whether your status is resident or non-resident, if you are using the IP address which is located in India, that will also get attracted under latest equalization levy. The equalization levy shall not be charged. This new equalization levy, that is 2% equalization levy, where the e-commerce operator making or providing or facilitating e-commerce supply or services which has a permanent establishment in India, and such e-commerce supply or services is effectively connected with such PE. If PE is India, then obviously we don't have to worry about taxation, because if you are having a permanent establishment in India, either in form of TDS or in form of recovery of income tax, recovery is easy because you are having PE in India. The problem is only when you are not having permanent establishment in India, where equalization levy is leviable under section 165. Obviously 165A will come into play when 165 is not applicable. If 165 was applicable, you are already under equalization levy. We don't want to put one more equalization levy, because advertisement is also a service. Advertisement services provided by Google and Facebook and Instagram was already captured by section 165. That will not be recaptured by latest section of 165A. Sales or turnover or a gross receipt, as the case may be, of the e-commerce operator from the e-commerce supply of service made or provided or facilitated is less than 2 crore during the previous year. If you are having a sales less than 2 crore, by the way, 2 crore is like peanut for this all e-commerce participant. They are saying if you are having business in India which is less than 2 crore, mark this word, less than 2 crore, meaning thereby exact 2 crore will attract equalization levy. More than 2 crore definitely will attract equalization levy. Less than 2 crore is a threshold limit. This is a threshold limit. Yeah. Next, so who is the e-commerce operator? E-commerce operator means a non-resident who owns, operators or manages digital or electronic facility or platform for online sale of a goods or a provision of services. So both industries are covered, goods industry as well as service industry. E-commerce supply, online sale of goods owned by the e-commerce operator. So sometimes Amazon sells goods owned by Amazon. If you search on Amazon Basics, Amazon Basic is usually produce goods procured by Amazon and their own brand. Online provision of services provided by e-commerce operator. Sometimes Amazon provides services like installation and transportation. Online sale of goods or provision of services or both facilitated. Now it is sold by somebody else. E-commerce operator is only providing you marketplace, a platform, aggregator services by e-commerce operator, or any combination of 1, 2, 3. That is just for your knowledge. This is just a definition of e-commerce supply. Sir, what if my Indian entity, say for example, there is a ICICI Bank, and ICICI Bank puts advertisement on YouTube, okay, that is Google, and what if they are failed to deduct equalization levy, what will happen? So all the advertisement expenses incurred by ICICI will be 100% disallowed, and this provision belongs to PGBP chapter, under section 40A 1B. Anyhow, you know that whenever we make payment outside India to a non-resident who does not have PE in India, the 100% expenditures will be disallowed. Same thing is applicable here. Any consideration paid or payable to a non-resident for a specified service, this is very, very important observation, on which equalization levy is deductible. Such levy has not been deducted or after deduction has not been paid before filing the return under section 139(1), then such expenses by the assessee towards consideration for specified service shall not be allowed as a deduction, that is 100% disallowance. Provided where in respect of such consideration, if equalization levy has been deducted in a subsequent year, that is a temporary disallowance, meaning thereby in future if you make your default good, if you deduct the equalization levy and make the payment of equalization levy, that means you are clean now. In future you can reclaim the deduction. Now most important point here for your observation, the disallowances as of now is applicable only for 6% equalization levy. It is not applicable for 2% equalization levy. Please understand, this disallowance is not possible when it is 2% equalization levy. So payment to non-resident e-commerce operator for e-commerce activities is not covered by section 40A 1B. It is very much logical, you know, because in India, if I am the buyer and I'm making payment to the Amazon USA, obviously I'm not going to apply equalization levy concept. I'm very small player, isn't it? So this is applicable only when this particular e-commerce operator come forward and pay himself. See, responsibility of 2% is on e-commerce operator, not on payer, but responsibility of 6% is on payer. So that's a major difference in this two section. Section 1050. Now beautifully section 1050 takes care of double non-taxation. So whenever we are applying equalization levy, the same amount should become exempt in the hands of the recipient. So that is written here. Any income arising from specified services, which is advertisement, that is 6% equalization levy, provided on or after 1st June 2016, arising from any e-commerce supply made or provided, okay, facilitated on or after 1st day of April 2021 and chargeable to equalization levy. So this is 2%, okay. So whether it is a 6% equalization levy or 2% equalization levy, please understand, once equalization levy is levied, the person who is earning this income, that non-resident who is earning this income from India, should not be taxable. For this purpose, specified service shall have the same meaning assigned to chapter 8, that is advertisement. So the person who is outside India will be exempted, please understand, from the payment. So India is making payment for outside India for advertisement services. Definitely Indian entity will deduct the 6% equalization levy and NR will enjoy the exemption under section 1050. Apart from that, if Indian entities, if this particular non-resident, if this non-resident is providing e-commerce operator, if this e-commerce operator is doing business in India, what type of business? Sale of goods, providing of services, facilitating market, then this non-resident is supposed to pay 2% equalization levy. If this non-resident has paid 2% equalization levy, whatever revenue has earned from India, this will be exempted under section 1050. So please have this clear-cut understanding. We will discuss the procedural aspect of equalization levy in the next lecture. Thank you.